Good morning, dear children. You are welcome to another session of our English classroom. You have already listened to one of the parts or one of the lessons from a very important story, The Race. Hope you have done all the activities. Now, let us go through the story before doing the remaining activities. Let us look the first activities or first story, The Rise, written by Nisha Panjabi. Nisha Panjabi is a freelance writer based in Lucknow, India. She is an Indian writer. She completed her education, including her Masters in Business Administration (MPA). Masters in Business Administration (MPA) she had completed, and she employed by the Lucknow Times. It's a daily magazine, the Times of India, as a freelance reporter. She blogs at Shimmering Gasoline. So if you search at net, you can see more about her. The Race is an award-winning story in sports category complete competition held by the Children's Book Trust, New Delhi, India, 2001. So that's all about the profile of Nisha Panjabi. So it's a very interesting story of Tarun, and I had asked you to read the story before the last class. So let us look. So all of you may please open your textbook and turn over to page number 8. Turn to page number 8. Okay, let us read. At the end of a game or a sporting event, we usually appreciate the winner or the record breaker. So it is a usual habit. So whenever somebody participates in a competition, and what happens? Those who win the competition, what we will do? We will appreciate. Hi, very good, very good. Or we will applause, we will gloss. Then we will say him very good or pat him on the back and say very marvelous, very good. So that is a type of appreciation. Shouldn't we encourage the losers to? Shouldn't we lose? Suppose somebody lost who finished last or fourth or fifth, he didn't get any place, first place, second place, third place. Suppose you participate in the school sports event, and suppose you are participating in 100 meters running and you finish last. What will you? Has anybody come to you to appreciate you? No, it is not. And nobody, they will not come. Let us see what happens in this story. So, let us look at the story. The Race. Tarun was a mediocre student. His grades could barely satisfy his parents, and he was not a good singer, dancer, painter, or even an actor. He always thought of himself as the black sheep of the family. His elder brother, who was pursuing a degree in engineering from a reputed college, always made the family proud, but Tarun was never good at anything like that. However, he was blessed with the strength of a great athlete. He was an excellent runner. He would run for hours, but be it day or night. Whenever he felt sad and lonely, he exhausted himself by running, thus releasing all his pent up emotions. At times, he would miss his school bus and he would then run to school, which was 5 miles away from his home. He just had one dream to become the fastest runner in the world. Tarun did not know how to achieve his dream. On the one hand, his parents hated his running and he wanted him to concentrate more on his studies, which he never did. On the other hand, he belonged to a middle class family And Tarun knew that to achieve his dream, he needed an intensive training and the amount for which was well beyond his family's reach. Hope you have read that. So let us look. Tarun was a mediocre student. That means he was not so intelligent, so bright student, and he was not so bad. That means he was at studying, he was an average student. Mediocre means let us say an average student. His grades could barely satisfy, but his grades could barely satisfy his parents. That means parents were not satisfied with his grades. After getting this examination answer papers and progress card, his grades were not so. There was not an A plus. There was not a grade. So he got only something like that C or something like mediocre. That means he was a middle, that means average. So he got an average grade. So it did not satisfy. Barely satisfy means did not. Barely, it's a negative meaning. Barely, seldom, scarcely, little, they are negative. Few, they are negative. So for example, there is little water in the glass means no water. Few people come to the class, that means no student come to the class. So in this way, barely means did not, no negative sentence are. So barely satisfied, his parents were not satisfied with his performance. He was not a good singer. He was not a singer, he was not a dancer, he was not a painter, or he was not even an actor. So suppose some students who are not good at study, they have the ability to sing, they may have the ability to dance, or they may have ability to perform some other arts. But in the case of Tarun, he was not a runner also. So he was not a dancer, he was not a painter, he was not an actor. He always thought himself as a black sheep of the family. That's why he thinks that he was the black sheep of the family. It's a particular usage, idiomatic usage. So we will come to that idiomatic usage at the end of this lesson. So idioms, that's a type of what we can say ശൈലി എന്ന് പറയില്ല. Black sheep of the family. Actually, what is the color of black sheep? All sheep are white. And what that means? The കൂട്ടത്തിൽ ചേരാത്തത് ഷീപ്പ് ഓഫ് ദ ഫാമിലി ബ്ലാക്ക് ഷീപ്പുകൾ സാധാരണ വൈറ്റ് കളറിലാണ്, പക്ഷെ ഒന്ന് കറുത്താണെങ്കിലോ. സോ അതാണ് ബ്ലാക്ക് ഷീപ്പ് ഓഫ് ദ ഫാമിലി. സോ ദാറ്റ് മീൻസ് ഹി വാസ് കൺസിഡേർഡ് ആസ് എ ബ്ലാക്ക് ഷീപ്പ് ഓഫ് ഹിം. ഹി ഹിംസെൽഫ് കൺസിഡേർഡ് ഞാൻ ഒന്നിനും കൊള്ളാത്തവനാണ്. So that was the feeling. Black sheep of the family. His elder brother, who was pursuing degree engineering, he was an engineer. He was continuing education in engineering. Elder brother, he was studying for engineering from a reputed college, that is to a very famous college. Always a family proud. So the family, all the people in the family was proud of his brother because he was an engineer. He was studying for engineer. Suppose your brother is an engineer, you will say proudly to somebody else. So for your friends, you will say, what's your name? What's your brother's name? And what is he doing? He's an engineer. And your father will say that. Suppose your brother or you, suppose you are studying for engineering, or you are doing some jobs like that, your father will be proud of, your mother will be proud of it. So the family was proud of his performance because he was pursuing degree of engineering. Pursue means follow. You can write the meanings if you want. But Tarun was never good at anything like that. Tarun was not he was not good at anything like that. He was not studying very well. He's an average student. And his brother, actually his brother was studying for engineering, but he was not studying at this type of any good activity. He was not doing his education. That means at study he was not so good. And pote padikkunnilla. So if he is a painter, he can perform. If he's a what is called dancer, it will be. So he was not good at anything. However, next paragraph. However, he was blessed with the strength of a great athlete. That's very nice. He has the strength of a great athlete. He was a good athlete, runner, good athlete. He was an excellent runner. He was an excellent runner. He would run for hours, 2 hours, 3 hours. He can run without stop, without continuously he can run. He was a good runner and he would run continuously for hours. Be it day or night. It may be day or night, ratri or pagala. That is not a problem for him. He was ready to run, running. That was whenever he felt sad and lonely. Whenever he gets that result or the progress card or answer paper from your teacher, he will be very sad because all other students got a good grade and Tarun has only got a very low grade. So what will he do? He will run for hours. B extorted himself by running. That means he will run, 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 run. Then he will become exhausted, tired. Till he was tired, he would run. Thus, releasing all his pent up emotions. Because he is pent up, that means അടക്കി പിടിച്ച emotions. Pent up. Emotions എല്ലാം തീരുന്നത് he would run. That was his usual habit. So he would run a lot of for hours he would run and he would release his pent up emotions. At times he would miss his school bus, sometimes, at times and sometimes, not every day. Sometimes he would miss his school bus, and what he do? He would run to the school. And how much is that? How far is it, the school? It is 5 miles away. That means 5 miles means almost 8 kilometers. 5 miles is equal to 8 kilometers from his home. From his home. From his home, he would run 8 kilometers or 5 miles. It is an exclamation mark, you can see. That means it is not a possible thing. അല്ലേ പെട്ടെന്നൊന്നും ഒരു ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് യൂഷ്വൽ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കഴിയുന്നല്ലേ 8 കിലോമീറ്റർ ഓടാൻ. 8 kilometers he was not run, he was running, not walking. He was running to the school 8 kilometers. Whenever he missed the bus, he would run to the school. That means he was so fond of running. So he liked running very much. He just had one dream. So he had one dream to become the fastest runner of the world. To become the fastest runner of the world. Tarun did not know how to achieve his dream. Tarun did not know how to achieve this dream. Tarun does not know how to win this dream. On the one hand, his parents hated his running. That is a problem. Tarun wanted to be the best runner, the fastest runner in the world. For that, he needed training. He wanted to join such athletic school, and he needs what is called this jersey and uniforms like that, everything, and shoe, etc. Not shoe, that boot, etc. So he wanted a lot of things, which needs a lot of money. The first problem is his parents did not like Tarun to be a runner. They wanted him to study. That was one of the problem. His parents hated his running. They did not like Tarun's running. Wanted to concentrate more. They wanted to concentrate. You should study. Tarun, you don't waste your time by running. What you should do? You should concentrate in studying. You study well, which he never did. That he cannot do. പഠിക്കണ കാര്യം that he never did. ഒരിക്കലും ചെയ്തു. He was not happy with that. That was one of the problem. And another one, on the other hand, he belonged to a middle class family. Tarun belonged to a middle class family. He was not so rich. He was a middle class family, poor. He was not, he was a middle class family, belonged to middle class family. And Tarun knew that to achieve his dream, what is his dream? His dream to be the fastest runner. So to achieve his dream, he needed an intensive training. What did he want? He needed an intensive training, the amount for which was well beyond his family's reach. So to become the fastest runner, or to become an Olympian, or to participate in Olympics or some Asiad or something like that, he wanted to be the best runner in the world. For that, he needed intensive training. So for the purpose of training, he needed a lot of money also, which his family did not have the money, because they were a middle class family, not so rich, not so poor. That is middle class. So there are two problems for him. One is the parents did not like him to be a runner. The other is he needed a lot of money for the purpose of training. So two blocks are there. Next, one more paragraph. Let us look. When Tarun failed in his terminal examination, So there was terminal examination, first term or second term, whatever may be. First term exam, suppose the first term examination is finished, what happens, what is his progress card? His father was very angry with him. Why? You know the reason. We know the reason why his father, because his grades were so low or so bad. His friends too made fun of him. Even his friends too made fun of him. Made fun of, that means mock കളിയാക്കുക, made fun of, ഒരു ഗ്രേഡും കിട്ടാത്ത ഡി ഗ്രേഡ് അത്ര മാത്സിൽ ഡി. So they made fun of him. It was a day he wanted to wipe out from his memory. So that day he cannot remember. Wipe out, wipe, you know, കാറിന് മുമ്പിൽ കണ്ടില്ലേ ഒരു സാധനം, വൈപ്പ്, വൈപ്പ് ഔട്ട്, മായ്ച്ചു കളയുക. He wanted to wipe it out from his memory, and so he took to running. So he wanted to forget that day. So what did he do that day? He went for running. He began to run. He ran all around the park. He ran all around the park. There was a park by name Shivaji Park that we look in the story. So he ran all the park. To the park, he ran all around the park. The sun beat down to check his rage, but nothing could stop him. The sun beat down. The sun, that means a poetical usage. Sun was so hot to check his rage. അവന്റെ ആ ആങ്കർ, ദേഷ്യം ഒന്ന് ശമിപ്പിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി സൂര്യൻ തീവ്രമായി നല്ല ഹോട്ടായിരുന്നു. ഈവൻ ദെൻ, ബട്ട് നത്തിങ് കുഡ് സ്റ്റോപ്പ് റൺ. സൂര്യനല്ല, അതിനേക്കാൾ വലിയ സാധനത്തിലായിരുന്നു. He would run because his emotions, pent up emotions. അവൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു usually what he would do, he would run when he was angry or when there was some pent up emotions or something like that. The sun beat down to to block, but no problem. No, there was no advantage. Anyway, he ran all around the park. The sun beat down to check his rage, but nothing could stop Tarun. After about an hour, he was fully exhausted. 1 hour he ran continuously and he was fully exhausted. Oh, he was fully tired, and his fury having subsided. His fury, that means his emotions, is the anchor, something like means inner problems. Almost when he was tired, having subsided means become low, കുറഞ്ഞപ്പോ, he threw himself on a bench. That means he sat down on a bench or lay on the bench and started panting heavily. After 1 hour's continuous running, he panted heavily. So there, let us stop here now, and you have to write some questions are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 questions are there given in the textbook. So you have to write all the 4 questions and answers in your notebook. Okay, what do you like? Who do you like more, Tarun or his brother? Why did Tarun think that he was a black sheep of the family? What were the obstacles before Tarun in pursuing his dream? Give some suggestions to solve. It was a day he wanted to wipe out from his memory. Why? 4 questions are there. So you should write all these. So before that, additionally, you write one more question, another question, you listen the question and write the question and write the answer. So listen to the question. How far away, you can write the question, how far away was his school from his home? Write the question and you write the answer. One more question, additional question. ഈ 4 ചോദ്യം എഴുതിയിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ മറ്റൊരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആയിട്ട് എഴുതുക. 5 എന്ന് എഴുതണ്ട, പിന്നെ നിങ്ങൾ 4A-B അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 1A-B എന്ന് എഴുതിക്കോളൂ. 5 നമുക്ക് വേറെ ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, അടുത്ത ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വരാണ്ടല്ലോ. യു റൈറ്റ് 4A 4B. സെക്കൻഡ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ 4A 4B. 4 എന്ന് എഴുതുക, എന്നിട്ട് 4A 4B എന്ന് എഴുതിയിട്ട് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്. ഫസ്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ വാസ് ഹൗ ഫാർ അവേ വാസ് ഹിസ് സ്കൂൾ ഫ്രം ഹിസ് ഹോം. Second question, why did Tarun consider himself? Why did Tarun consider himself as a black sheep of the family. As a black sheep of the family. It is not a one word answer. It's a you should write at least one or two sentences will be the answer. If you listen to the class and read the text again, and you can write the answer. Do it today itself and send to me your answers to my before 7 p.m. today. Thank you. Have a nice day.